I will never forget that rainy night. I pushed open Marcus's office door and saw him tightly embracing Chloe. They were lost in their kiss, completely oblivious to my presence. 5 years of marriage shattered completely in that moment. I stood quietly by the door, countless fragments flashing through my mind. When first started working, Marcus told me, "Grace, she's a very capable assistant. We should look out for her." Like a fool, I even invited her to have dinner at my place. Back then, she was sweet and sensible, always calling me Grace with a smile. I believed her, even introducing her to boyfriends. Now, thinking back, every word she uttered felt like she was mocking my stupidity. "Marcus, when are we going public with our relationship?" Chloe's voice reached me. "Just a little longer, until I sort things out with Grace." Marcus stroked her hair. "She's given me so many years, I can't be too heartless." I recalled every little detail from the past 5 years. To support his startup, I quit my beloved job and sold the jewelry my mother had left me. To bear his child, I underwent 3 IVF treatments, almost losing my life. Yet he said, "She's given me so many years," with utter impatience in his tone. As if my contributions were a burden. "Marcus, I'll wait for you," Chloe cooed, "but is Grace, that a frumpy old wife, good enough for you?" "Don't say that, she is my wife, after all." Marcus chuckled softly, "But you're right, there's been no love between us for a long time." I turned and left. Back home, I sat on the sofa, staring blankly. Our wedding photo hung on the wall, showing how brightly I smiled back then. I took out my phone and scrolled through the text messages from the past 5 years. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Marcus. "Grace, something came up at work tonight, I won't be home." I had received messages like this countless times. Before, I would always reply, "Okay, take care of yourself." But today, I didn't reply. I stood up and walked to the mirror, looking at my haggard reflection. At 28, I looked 35. Fine lines had appeared at the corners of my eyes, my figure had changed, and my style of dress had become increasingly casual. I had become the dull, uninteresting wife in his eyes. But hadn't all of this been for him? I wouldn't accept it. Why should he betray me and then expect me to bow out gracefully? I opened my laptop and began looking up information about Marcus's company. Wansheng, with a registered capital of 50 million, had Marcus holding 80% of the shares. For the company to be where it is today, I played a crucial role. Half of the initial startup capital came from my personal assets. The company's first major order was secured through my connections. Even the company's name was chosen by me. Since intended to abandon me, I would make him realize the cost of losing me. It was already 2 in the morning when Marcus returned. I hadn't slept, I was waiting for him on the sofa. "Grace, why are you still awake?" He seemed flustered. "Didn't I tell you not to wait up for me?" "Marcus, we need to talk." My voice was calm. "It's so late, let's talk about it tomorrow." He avoided my gaze and hurried upstairs. "Marcus." I called out to him. He stopped, turned back to me. "What is it?" "You smell of perfume." I looked directly into his eyes. "Not the kind I use." Marcus's face changed, but he forced a calm demeanor. "It's probably from the office. You know, a lot of female colleagues wear perfume these days." "Really?" I stood up, walked over to him. "Then what about this?" I pointed to the lipstick mark on his shirt collar. Marcus panicked. "I don't know how that got there." "You don't know?" I sneered. "Marcus, we've been married for 5 years. Do you really think I'd fall for that nonsense?" "Grace, let me explain." "Explain your kissing and hugging Chloe in the office?" I finally blurted it out. Marcus's face turned instantly pale. "You saw?" "Yes, I saw everything." My voice began to tremble. "Chloe is younger, more vibrant than you. And you? Just an old woman. I stopped loving you a long time ago. I love her, so let's get a divorce." Marcus said coldly. "Marcus, you're a complete jerk." I wiped away my tears. "I've given you so much. Is this how you repay me?" "I know you've given a lot, and I'll compensate you." Marcus said unhurriedly, "I'll give you a sum of money, and you can start over." He said it so casually, as if our marriage was just a game. "You wish." I sneered. "Marcus, divorce is possible, but it will be on my terms." "What terms?" "Half of the company's shares." "Impossible." Marcus immediately refused. "The company is my life's work. There's no way I'll split it with you." "Your life's work?" I looked at him mockingly. "Marcus, speak honestly. How much of the startup capital when the company was founded came from my personal assets? Wasn't the first major client introduced by me? Do you have any idea how much effort I've put into the company's development over these years?" Marcus was speechless. Furthermore, assets acquired during the marriage should naturally be divided equally, I continued. What I'm asking for isn't excessive. Grace, don't push it too far. Marcus got agitated. I can give you the house, I can give you cash, but not the company. Then there's nothing to discuss. I turned and walked upstairs. Marcus, deal with the consequences. Grace, he called after me. What do you want? I turned back to him. I'll make you realize the price of betraying me. Back in the bedroom, I locked the door and took out my phone to text Daniel. Daniel was my college classmate and my childhood friend. He was now a well-known lawyer in Capital City, specializing in matrimonial disputes. Daniel, can you do me a favor? Soon, he replied, of course, what is it? I want a divorce. The phone rang immediately. Grace, what happened? Daniel's voice was full of concern. He cheated. I briefly explained. In the situation. There was a moment of silence on the other end. That jerk, Daniel said angrily. I always knew he wasn't a good person. It's no use saying that now. I need you to help me file a lawsuit. No problem. I'll make sure you get everything you deserve. Daniel's voice was firm. Grace, don't be afraid. I'm here. Thank you, Daniel. No need for thanks between us, Daniel said. I'll start preparing the documents tomorrow. You gather all the relevant evidence. After hanging up, I felt a surge of confidence. The next morning, when I woke up, Marcus had already left for work. I started tidying up the room, searching for any useful evidence. Bank statements, company documents, and their text messages. Marcus was very careful, but he still left traces. I found some of the company's financial statements in his home office. Wanching's development was indeed impressive, with its annual revenue already reaching 200 million. This achievement was partly due to me. Around noon the next day, Chloe called me. Grace, are you home? I wanted to see you. Her voice was still cloyingly sweet. Sure, come on over. I deliberately acted normal. An hour later, Chloe arrived. She was dressed in designer clothes, with exquisite makeup, looking radiant. Grace, you don't look so good. Didn't you get enough rest? She asked with concern. Maybe I'm coming down with something. I poured her a cup of tea. What brings you here today? I missed you. Chloe smiled sweetly. And I have some good news to tell you. What good news? I'm being transferred to headquarters, so we might not see each other much anymore. She feigned reluctance. That's why I wanted to come and spend some time with you. Transferred to headquarters? Was this Marcus's preparation to go public with their relationship? Well, congratulations then, I said with a smile. I'll miss you, though. Grace, you're so kind. Chloe suddenly squeezed my hand. Marcus is so lucky to have married you. I looked at her, a cold laugh in my heart. This woman's acting was quite good, but unfortunately, I had already seen through her true colors. Chloe, do you have a boyfriend? I asked. Not yet, she blushed. I'm too busy with work, no time for dating. That won't do. A girl should still find a good man to marry, I said earnestly. But whatever you do, never go after a married man. People will look down on you for it. Chloe's face changed slightly, but she quickly recovered. Grace is right. I wouldn't be a homewrecker. That's good. I smiled even more gently. I absolutely despise those shameless women who know a man is married and still throw themselves at them. Chloe clearly understood my implication, and her expression became somewhat unnatural. Grace, I just remembered I have something else to do. I should get going. She rose quickly. Watching her leave, I sneered. If you do something, you should be prepared to be found out. That afternoon, I went to the bank and printed all the transaction records. It was clear at a glance how much money I had contributed to the household over the past 5 years. Marcus's debit card was also with me, and I printed out its records as well. That evening, Daniel came to see me. Grace, you look haggard. He looked at me with deep concern. It's nothing, I'll be fine soon. I showed him all the evidence I had collected. Daniel carefully reviewed the documents, his expression growing more serious. That is a real piece of work, he said angrily. How dare he treat you like this? What are our chances of winning now? I asked. Based on this evidence, we have every right to demand an equal split of assets, Daniel analyzed. We might even be able to ask for more, since the other party is at fault. That's good. I breathed a sigh of relief. But, are you really sure about this? Daniel looked at me. Divorce can still have a big impact on a woman. I'm sure, my voice was firm. Then I'll support you all the way. Duh. Neil held my hand. Grace, no matter what happens, I'm by your side. His hand was warm, sending a wave of warmth through me. All these years, only Daniel had consistently cared for me. My decision to choose Marcus over him back then now seemed incredibly foolish. Daniel, thank you, I said, looking at him gratefully. Without you, I couldn't have won so decisively. This is what you deserve, Daniel said. Grace, now you can start anew. Yes, I'm going to start over. Just then, Marcus returned. Seeing his expression immediately darkened. Daniel, what are you doing here? Marcus's tone was very unfriendly. I'm the lawyer Grace hired. Daniel stood up and said, neither servile nor overbearing. A lawyer? Marcus looked at me. Grace, what is the meaning of this? You'll receive a court summons tomorrow, I said calmly. I'm filing for divorce. You're crazy, Marcus shouted. You're going to take this to court over a trivial matter? Marcus, is infidelity a trivial matter in your eyes? Marcus was speechless. Mr. Marcus, since you chose to betray her, you must face the consequences. Daniel said coldly. See you in court. With that, he escorted me out. Grace, Marcus called out from behind. Think it over carefully. Divorce won't benefit you. I didn't look back. From today on, there would only be a confrontation in court between Marcus and me. Over the next few days, I began to systematically gather evidence. Marcus and Chloe thought they were discreet, but they left plenty of clues. I hired a private investigator who took photos of them entering and leaving hotels. I found records of Marcus buying luxury items for Chloe. I even found their hotel bookings for vacations. Every piece of evidence pointed to the same fact: Marcus had an affair. Grace, you're truly impressive, Daniel said, looking at the evidence with admiration. These materials are enough to make Marcus lose the lawsuit. That's not enough, I sneered. I want to financially ruin him. What else do you have planned? 3 of Wanching's major clients were introduced by my former colleagues, I said. I'm going to meet with them. Daniel understood my meaning. You want them to cancel orders? Not cancel orders, but transfer orders, I smiled coldly. I'm preparing to strike out on my own and start my own business. This idea had been brewing in my mind for days. Rather than passively waiting for the divorce, I decided to take proactive action. The next day, I arranged to meet with my former colleague, Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis was the procurement director for a large enterprise and a key client of Wanching. Grace, long time no see. Mr. Davis enthusiastically shook my hand. I heard you've been a stay-at-home wife since you got married. How have things been? Not bad, I said with a smile. But I'm planning to return to work. Really? That's wonderful. Mr. Davis's eyes lit up. With your capabilities, you'll excel at anything you do. Thank you for your trust, I said. Actually, I came here today to discuss a collaboration with you. What kind of collaboration? I'm planning to establish a new company, specializing in software development, I explained. If you're willing to support me, I can offer you more competitive prices and better service. Mr. Davis looked a little troubled. Grace, it's not that I don't want to help you, but we have a long-term cooperation agreement with Wanching. Mr. Davis, have you forgotten who introduced Wanching to you in the first place? I reminded him. Mr. Davis suddenly realized. It was you who introduced them. I remember now, you highly recommended Marcus back then. Yes, unfortunately, I misjudged him, I sighed. Mr. Davis, Marcus and I are getting a divorce. He had an affair. What? Mr. Davis was shocked. That jerk. So, I'm preparing to strike out on my own, and I hope you can support me. Mr. Davis patted my shoulder. Grace, don't worry, I will definitely support you. Once technology's contract He expires, I'll work with your company. Thank you so much, I said, thrilled. After leaving Mr. Davis's office, I went to meet 2 more clients. The meetings went smoothly, and they all agreed to transfer orders to me. These 3 clients accounted for 40% of Wanching's annual revenue. Losing them would plunge Marcus's company into a huge crisis. Back home, I began to draw up a business plan. I had the technology, the experience, and the clients. All I lacked was startup capital. However, that wasn't a big problem. I could apply for a loan or find investors. While I was engrossed in my work, Marcus returned. Grace, what are you doing? He asked curiously, seeing the documents on my table. Preparing to start a business, I said without looking up. Start a business? Marcus was stunned. Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding. I looked up at him. I've quit my job as a stay-at-home wife and am ready to start anew. Marcus's face changed. Grace, don't go acting out. I sneered. Marcus, you were the one who started acting out. I admit I made a mistake, but what you're doing isn't good for anyone. Marcus tried to persuade me. Let's talk this through properly. Don't let things reach a point of no return. Now you want to talk? I stood up. Instead of wasting time talking nonsense with me, you should think about how to handle the clients canceling orders. Marcus's face drastically changed. What cancel orders? Mr. Davis and the others have decided not to renew their contracts with Wansheng, I said flatly. They're going to work with my new company. Impossible. Marcus got agitated. They have long-term cooperation agreements with us. Once the cooperation agreements expire, they have the right to choose new partners. I looked at him mockingly. Marcus, you don't actually believe those clients were coming to you because of you, do you? Marcus's face was ashen. Of course, he knew I had introduced those clients. Losing these major clients would put immense pressure on Wansheng's cash flow. Grace, you can't do this. Marcus grabbed my hand. The company is my life's work. Life's work? I shook off his hand. Marcus, you're abandoning me now, and you expect me to keep helping you? Marcus was speechless. Watching him in a panic, a surge of satisfaction welled up inside me. But this was only the beginning. The court summons quickly reached Marcus. The moment he saw the summons, his face completely changed. Grace, are you really going to escalate this to court? He held the summons, his voice trembling slightly. I told you, I'm not making a fuss. I looked at him calmly. Marcus, the game has begun. The next day, I officially registered my new company, Chensi, signifying a new beginning and new hope. I rented a small office and hired a few technical staff. Although its scale was modest, it was staffed with talented professionals. Ms. Grace, Chloe from Wansheng is here and says she wants to see you, Kevin, my assistant, reported. Let her in. I straightened my clothes, preparing for the confrontation. When entered, she still wore that sickly sweet smile. Grace, I hear you've started a company. That's impressive. She sat down, looking around my office. It's all right, just a small business. I poured her a cup of tea. What brings you here today? I'm here to talk sense into you. Chloe's smile vanished. Grace, what you're doing isn't good for anyone. Oh? How so? You've taken Wansheng's clients, and Marcus is very angry, Chloe said. He says if you continue like this, he won't be gentle with you. Won't be gentle? I laughed. How else can he be not gentle with me? Grace, don't think Marcus will keep tolerating you. Chloe's tone began to harden. He's been lenient for the sake of what we had, but don't push your luck. For the sake of what we had? I nearly burst out laughing. Chloe, you're a homewrecker. What right do you have to talk about what we had with me? Chloe's face changed. What did you say? I said, you, a homewrecker who destroyed someone else's family. What nerve do you have to lecture me? I stood up, looking down at her. I'm not a homewrecker. Chloe got agitated. Marcus and I truly love each other. Truly in love? I sneered. Chloe, do you know how Marcus used to talk about you? You're lying. He said you were young, pretty, had a good figure, and were good in bed. I deliberately provoked her. Chloe's face turned ashen. You're lying. Marcus isn't like that. Not like that? Then why did he cheat? I continued to hit her where it hurt. Chloe, in Marcus's eyes, you're just a plaything. Once he gets tired of you, he'll naturally discard you. Chloe was speechless. Let me tell you the truth. I walked up to her. Marcus never intended to divorce me, he just wanted to be two-timing. Enjoying the care of his wife while also enjoying the attentions of his mistress. You're lying, Chloe said, her eyes welling with tears. Marcus loves me. Loves you? If he really loved you, why wouldn't he make your relationship public? Chloe, wake up. You're just his toy. Chloe finally broke down, crying as she ran out of my office. That afternoon, Marcus stormed in to find me. Grace, what did you say to Chloe? He demanded the moment he entered. Nothing much, I said indifferently. Just told her some facts. Like you're a two-timing scumbag. I am not. Marcus retorted furiously. Not? Then what were you and Chloe doing, hugging and kissing in the office? What was it when you took her to hotels? I questioned him, point by point. Marcus's face turned red and blotchy as I spoke. That's my private business. Private business? I sneered. Marcus, you're not even divorced yet, and you're talking about private business? Our argument attracted the attention of the employees. Everyone craned their necks to watch the spectacle. Marcus noticed, his expression darkening. Let's go outside to talk. No need, I said coldly. Marcus? My employees have a right to know what kind of person you are. Marcus was so angry he couldn't speak. He then left in a rage. Watching his retreating figure, a sense of satisfaction welled up inside me. When I returned home that evening, I found that Marcus had already moved out. His clothes, his books, all his personal belongings were gone. Only a note remained, Grace, let's both cool down. You can contact me anytime when you've thought things through. I've already thought things through perfectly. This home, from today on, belonged only to me. I tore the note into pieces and threw it into the trash. Marcus, goodbye. This time, it's a real goodbye. My new company's business was developing smoothly. Orders from several major clients kept us incredibly busy, but the employees were all highly motivated. Ms. Grace, Chloe from Wanching is poaching employees again, Kevin, my assistant, reported. They're offering double salaries. Has anyone been tempted? I asked. Not yet, but I'm a bit worried. But what? Mr. Marcus said if anyone is willing to switch, he'd give them an extra bonus. I sneered. Marcus got agitated. After losing major clients, Wanching's business was significantly impacted. Now he wanted to poach my people again. It was wishful thinking. Kevin, inform all employees that we'll have a meeting this afternoon, I said. Understood, Ms. Grace. At the afternoon meeting, I made things very clear. I know Wanching is poaching our employees. I looked at the employees gathered before me. I won't stop anyone from making their own choices, but I do want to say a few words. Everyone listened attentively. First, although our company hasn't been established for long, its development prospects are excellent, I stated. Long-term contracts with several major clients have already been signed, which is enough to guarantee everyone's income. The employees nodded. Second, our company culture is people-oriented, I continued. I won't treat employees as mere tools, but as partners. Third, I promise that as long as the company thrives, everyone's income will only increase, not decrease. Ms. Grace, we're all willing to work with you. Henry, the technical director, stood up and said, Yes, we trust Ms. Grace. Other employees also voiced their support. I was deeply moved by everyone's support. Thank you all for your trust, I said. Let's work together to make this company bigger and stronger. After the meeting, Kevin told me some news. Ms. Grace, 3 technical employees from Wanching have resigned. Did they come to our company? No, they said they wanted to start their own businesses, Kevin said. I heard it's because Mr. Marcus has been short-tempered lately and often yells at people. I nodded. Marcus was under too much pressure. With the company's business declining and facing a divorce lawsuit, how could he not be agitated? But this was all his own doing. If he hadn't cheated in the first place, we wouldn't have reached this point today. That evening, as I was preparing the court documents for the next day at home, the doorbell rang. I thought it was Daniel, but when I opened the door, it was Chloe. Her eyes were red and swollen, she had clearly been crying. Grace, may I come in? Her voice was faint. Come in. I stepped aside. Do you need something? After sat down, she remained silent for a long time before speaking. Grace, you were right. Her voice was soft. Marcus. He might really not love me. Today, I asked him when he was going to divorce you, and he told me not to rush. Chloe's tears started flowing again. I asked him if he didn't want to divorce, and he just lost his temper. He said I was too annoying and told me to settle down. Chloe choked out, Grace, he's never spoken to me like that before. I looked at her, a flicker of sympathy rising within me. Although this woman was a homewrecker, she was also a victim. Marcus had deceived her, and he had deceived me too. Chloe, what do you want to do? I asked. I don't know. She looked at me bewildered. Grace, what do you think I should do? Leave him, I said without hesitation. Chloe, you're still young. Don't waste your youth on this man. But I love him, she cried. What do you love? I asked. Is it his sweet talk, or the material comforts he provides? Chloe, true love isn't like that. She fell silent. I can tell you a secret, I said. Marcus pursued me in the same way. Sweet words, romantic surprises, making me believe he truly loved me. But after we got married, he changed. He became cold, selfish, treating me like a free nanny. Chloe listened intently. Now it's your turn, I continued. Once the novelty wears off, he'll treat you the same way. Chloe was silent for a long time, then finally stood up. Thank you, Grace, she said. I'll think about it carefully. Chloe, I called out to her. Women need to learn to love themselves. Don't destroy yourself for a man who isn't worth it. She nodded and turned to leave. Watching her retreating figure, I felt a mix of emotions. Perhaps, we were both victims of Marcus. The court hearing date finally arrived. I wore a formal black business suit and arrived at the courthouse early. Daniel was already waiting for me. Grace, are you nervous? He asked with concern. Not at all, I said with a smile. What do I have to be nervous about? I'm not the one who did anything wrong. That's good, Daniel nodded reassuringly. Remember, no matter what they say later, you need to stay calm. I know. Soon, Marcus arrived too. He wore a dark blue suit and looked somewhat haggard. Our gazes met in the air. He seemed about to say something, but I turned my head away. Now we were adversaries, there was nothing left to say. Plaintiff, please present your petition, the judge said. Daniel stood up. My client, Ms. Grace, is seeking a divorce from Mr. Marcus on the grounds of Mr. Marcus's extramarital affair. At the same time, we request the division of marital assets according to legal provisions. Marcus's lawyer immediately countered, we believe the plaintiff's accusations are not supported by sufficient evidence. We have evidence, Daniel said, producing a stack of photographs. These are pictures of Mr. Marcus and Ms. Chloe entering and exiting hotels. The judge took the photos and examined them closely. Marcus's face became very grim. Besides the photographs, we have other evidence, Daniel continued, including bank statements showing records of Mr. Marcus purchasing luxury items for Ms. Chloe, and hotel check-in records proving they shared hotel rooms multiple times. With conclusive evidence, Marcus's lawyer could only make excuses. None of this proves anything. Mr. Marcus and Ms. Chloe merely have a normal working relationship. Does a normal working relationship involve sharing hotel rooms? Daniel retorted. A ripple of chuckles went through the courtroom. Marcus's face flushed even deeper. We also have a witness, Daniel said. Ms. Chloe is willing to testify in court. What? Chloe is going to testify in court? I looked towards the door in surprise, and indeed, I saw Chloe walk in. Marcus saw her, and a flicker of panic crossed his eyes. Ms. Chloe, please tell the court about your relationship with Mr. Marcus, Daniel asked. Chloe took a deep breath. Mr. Marcus and I did have an inappropriate relationship. The courtroom caused a commotion. Marcus tried to stop her, but it was too late. Please elaborate, the judge said. I am an employee of Wanching, and Mr. Marcus is my boss, Chloe stated. He began pursuing me last year. At first, I refused because I knew he was already married. But he said he had no feelings for his wife and was planning to divorce her. Under his persistence, we began a romantic relationship. Marcus's face turned livid with anger, but he couldn't erupt in court. Ms. Chloe, did Mr. Marcus buy you anything? Daniel asked. Chloe answered ruthfully, the total value was around $300,000. Did you engage in any intimate acts? Chloe blushed. Around dozens of times. Again, the courtroom caused a commotion. Marcus's lawyer tried to struggle, but the judge interrupted him, stating, the evidence is sufficient, and the facts are clear. Ultimately, the court ruled, the real estate belonged to Ms. Grace. Ms. Grace would own 60% of Wanching's shares, and Mr. Marcus would own 40%. Other assets would be divided equally. Hearing the verdict, a wave of satisfaction surged through me. Marcus's face was ashen. Clearly, he hadn't expected to lose so spectacularly. I object. He suddenly stood up. I want to appeal. The judge looked at him. That is your right, but the verdict takes immediate effect. Marcus slumped back into his seat. He knew that even an appeal wouldn't change much. With conclusive evidence, his defeat was sealed. As I walked out of the courthouse, I felt completely lightened. Grace, congratulations, Daniel said, holding my hand. You're free. Thank you, Daniel, I said, looking at him gratefully. Without you, I couldn't have won so decisively. This is what you deserve, Daniel said. Grace, now you can start anew. Yes, I'm going to start over. 3 days after the court ruling, I received a notice for a Wanching board meeting. As a 60% shareholder, I had the right to attend the board meeting. In the conference room, Marcus sat at the head table, his face gloomy. When he saw me walk in, his eyes were filled with anger and resentment. Esteemed board members, an emergency board meeting has been convened today because of a change in the company's ownership structure, Marcus said through gritted teeth. According to the court's judgment, Ms. Grace is now the majority shareholder of the company. The directors all turned to look at me, their expressions complex. They all knew about my divorce from Marcus, but they hadn't expected me to become the controlling shareholder of the company. Hello everyone, I'm Ms. Grace, I said calmly. Starting today, I will participate in company management in my shareholder capacity. Ms. Grace, what are your thoughts on the company's operations? A director asked. First, I intend to examine the company's financial health, I said, glancing at Marcus. I suspect there are financial irregularities. Marcus's face changed drastically. What do you mean? You know exactly what I mean, I sneered. Marcus, how much money have you taken from the company over the years? I'm the company founder, "What's wrong with taking my rightful salary?" he quickly said. "Salary?" I pulled out a document. "You take $8 million from the company annually. Is that a salary?" The directors caused a commotion. $8 million in annual salary was indeed too high for a company like Wancheng. "I demand a re-audit of the company's accounts," I announced. "If any issues are found, those responsible will be held accountable." Marcus was trembling with rage. "Grace, don't go too far." I stood up. "Marcus, you've treated the company as your personal ATM, harming the interests of other shareholders." I proposed to remove Marcus from his position as general. I moved before the board. Several other directors immediately responded. Marcus panicked. "You can't do this. I'm the company founder." "Being a founder doesn't mean you can do as he pleased," I said coldly. "Let's proceed with the vote." The result was no surprise. Marcus was removed from his position. After the meeting, Marcus angrily confronted me. "Grace, are you trying to drive me to ruin?" he demanded furiously. "Drive you to ruin?" I sneered. "Marcus, you were the one who betrayed me first. I admit I made a mistake, but you can't retaliate against me like this." "Retaliate?" I shook my head. "I'm merely protecting my legal rights. You've already taken control of the company. What else do you want?" "Marcus, how many illegal things have you done at the company over these years?" Marcus's face changed. "What illegalities?" "Misappropriating company funds, inflating expenses, and awarding overpriced contracts to connected parties." I listed them one by one. "I will investigate all of these thoroughly." I sneered. "Marcus, you thought you were discreet, but you left plenty of clues." Marcus realized the seriousness of the situation, and his tone softened. "Grace, let's part ways amicably. Let's not make things too difficult." "Part ways amicably?" I laughed out loud. "Marcus, when you chose to betray me, part ways amicably was no longer an option. You'll have to deal with the consequences." Leaving technology, I felt relieved. Gaining control of this company was like having Marcus's lifeline. From now on, he could no longer do as he pleased. That evening, Daniel invited me to dinner to celebrate. "Grace, you were truly amazing today," he said, raising his glass. "You truly carried yourself like a powerful businesswoman. Thank you for the compliment." I clinked glasses with him, but this is just the beginning. "What else do you have planned?" "I need to thoroughly investigate Wancheng's financial problems," I said. "Marcus has definitely committed a lot of illegal acts over the years." "Are you going to sue him?" "If he genuinely broke the law, why wouldn't I sue him?" I scoffed. "Everyone is equal under the law." Daniel nodded. "I support you." "Daniel, I'm truly grateful for your help during this time." I looked at him. "Without your help, I couldn't have managed this smoothly." "Grace, we're friends. It's only natural for me to help," Daniel said gently. "Friends?" As I looked into his gentle eyes, a wave of warmth spread through me. The results of Wancheng's financial audit were released quickly. Just as I expected, Marcus had indeed committed many irregularities. That afternoon, I filed a lawsuit with the court, accusing Marcus of misappropriating company funds and demanding he be held legally responsible. When the news broke, the entire industry was shocked. No one had expected that right after the divorce case ended, I would be accusing Marcus of criminal charges. "Ms. Grace, isn't this going too far?" Kevin, my assistant, asked worriedly. "Too far?" I scoffed. "Kevin, remember this, leniency towards an enemy is cruelty to oneself." After received the lawsuit, he frantically came to see me. "Grace, are you trying to drive me to ruin?" His voice trembled. I looked at him mockingly. "Marcus, you walked down this path yourself. Grace, please, for the sake of what we had." Marcus immediately said, "I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Too late. I turned and walked away. "Marcus, I'll see you in court." Seeing Beg, all my resentment finally spilled out. Soon after, Marcus's criminal case went to court. The defendant, Marcus, for misappropriation of $3 million in company funds, a significant amount and serious circumstances, the judge announced the verdict, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison, suspended for 5 years, in accordance with the law. The defendant is also ordered to return all misappropriated funds. Suspended for 5 years? This meant Marcus wouldn't have to go to jail, but he would have to abide by the law during his probation. As I walked out of the courthouse, I felt a sense of relief. This war, which had lasted half a year, was finally over. After enduring betrayal and pain, I had finally found myself again. From now on, I would live for myself. No longer anyone's accessory, just me, Grace. A year later, Morningstar had developed into a renowned company in the industry. Daniel and I had also officially started dating. He was very good to me, gentle and considerate, completely unlike Marcus. With him, I felt true love. That day, I happened to run into Chloe on the street. She looked haggard and was dressed in simple clothes. "Grace," she greeted me directly. "Hello," I replied polite. "Ly. Grace, how have you been doing?" she asked. "Very well, and you?" I'm working at a small company." She looked a bit embarrassed. "Marcus. We broke up." I wasn't surprised. Marcus was not the kind of man who would take responsibility for a woman. "That's good," I said. "Chloe, it's time for a fresh start." "Thank you, Grace." Her eyes welled up with tears. "If only I hadn't done those things back then." "Don't dwell on the past," I said, patting her shoulder. "Live well. Your future will be brighter." As I said goodbye to Chloe, I felt no ripple of emotion. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.